dealing with the whole subject of the prison reform, we have returning to the gallery once again, Mrs.
Bastien-Archer.
So Mrs. Bang Archer. So she was here in October during Stop Wrongful Conviction Month. She has her own organization called Stop Wrongful Conviction. So just to get everybody up to speed, her husband is currently in prison, and she's been fighting for years to get his conviction vacated, based on information. But just to get everybody up to speed, because people that have watched the show or listened to the show are familiar with Michelle and her story and her situation with her husband. So she just came in to give an update on what's happening with her husband, and also, like I said, this ties right into what we was talking about with that song, dealing with prison reform and how they try to just get people in prison for numbers and for money and things like such as that.
Well, let's see. He got 20 months left so far before he see the board. But however, just last week, our lawyer came to see him, and he gave us some good news. I don't know if anyone knows what a 440 motion is, but a 440 motion is basically what they use to vacate convictions, and our lawyer said that before Christmas he'll put it in, and once he does that, Kings County District Attorney's Office have to make a decision if they're going to let him go or they're going to just fight it and go to court. So hopefully they don't, because he was also in the conviction review unit for the last 6 years. Before we had counsel, I was the one going, making calls and harassing everyone until there's like, what, let's listen to what this woman had to say. And they reopened his case, and now we're at the waiting game stage. So.
And you mentioned 20 months, basically almost another 2 years. And even if he was to write it out, it's just the whole principle, like those that heard the story, in the past. And I'll probably try to clip it out and just repost the full story.
Mm-hmm.
That Michelle spoke about, in the past when she was here, that basically he was, railroaded from various directions.
There's more than conspiracy. There's Brady material where you're supposed to share information that you have to the defense, and they held it. We knew that the witness was paid to testify against my husband, and on the oath in court he says that he wasn't paid, and even the prosecutor at the time, she basically say no, we didn't pay him. And it took 15 years before we actually found the paper that we knew that existed. And black and white, as per our agreement. Okay, and the big, letterhead with the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office, Kings County, paid the witness to testify. He said he got paid about $3,000, but we only came up with like $1,300. So there's more money out there somewhere. So wow. Yeah, 22 to life. Wow. So that's like $11. $11. What? It's crazy. $11 a day.
To put somebody away for life.
For life. Right. 22 to life. And the thing is, the reason why they put life behind it is if he goes to the board, when he goes to the board, and they couldn't keep denying him. But there was a man that's in there right now. They denied him so many times. He's been there 40 years on a 25-year conviction, 25 to life conviction.
Yeah, because that life is forever.
Yep.
So we were speaking about it fits directly into this song, because with definitely your case, there's actual proof that he was railroaded, that your husband was railroaded.
Oh.
And for those that have missed previous, she gets to see her husband, she visits him, so she spoke about dad and their relationship. So like I said, those are the older clips of the show. So she's been in touch with him, he's been in touch with her, and lawyers and everything like that, in order for comforting each other. But as you know, she mentioned, what year I got married? How many years ago?
11 years ago.
11 years. So, and that's why he was in prison. And so this is a long battle that she's been going through, much longer than Buju, because Uzi was talking about Buju earlier in the program. You know, everybody's happy that he is out.
But that was entrapment, so you know.
You really think so?
Yes, I really, really think so.
Well, the reason why I say that is this, right? Why would you get caught in a place where you know it's going to be kilos of cocaine at, and you tasting cocaine? That sounds like someone who has experience in that. Now, I'm happy that he's home, and I'm not saying that I want to see any, especially of our people, in that situation. I never want to see any of our people down. But you also have to be responsible and not put yourself in situations where you're gonna get caught up. If you get caught up in a place that's like me being in a trap house, and I know it's a trap house. If they raid it, I'm liable to go down with whatever is in there.
I agree.
So I think that with Buju, we're happy because we feel he paid his time. We feel for him, but he also made a bad decision to go down there and do what he did. And I think that he'll probably say the same thing. You know what I mean? If you was to catch him in a sincere moment, he'll be like, I messed up, and I had to pay for it, so.
That I agree, but go on Netflix. I don't even know. Actually, it's not on Netflix. The New Bird 4. You gotta watch that.
I remember that's the one with the Muslim guys that they was trying to sell them weapons and all that stuff. That's entrapment. You know what I mean? That's entrapment because they was forcing that on them. You know what I'm saying? But Buju willingly went to a drug sale, and I can't. It is what we all got our struggles and we all got our different scenarios. But I just feel like that was more him being involved in things that he wasn't supposed to be involved in. You know what I'm saying? And I love Buju, and I hope the best for him, and I hope that he prospers and does everything. But I'm not going to look at things the same perspective that everybody look at, and I'm going to try to look at everything and judge everything fairly. So he did his time. He's home. We all happy, and we could enjoy Buju. But
and we're gonna see what type of music he's gonna come out with.
Actually, he came out with something. I heard it on. I don't know if it's
already.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, as soon as he touched down, he went to somebody had it lined up for a studio. So, I mean, by the end of the week, you probably hear 10.
He'd be number one on the reggae show.
Probably 10 songs.
I heard it today, but I don't know how recent it is. But I think it's like he didn't waste no time.
Yeah, he didn't waste. And it's, speaking about what happened during the when he first got convicted, because I was watching the video that Sean played last night, about the whole, his whole history. And right after he left San Francisco is when that whole thing took place. And I found that interesting that, he went there. They invited him there because he was supposed to apologize to the gay community there because, they've been on him for years about that song. And, he basically made amends with them, but they was making some demands that he would not do. And he refused those demands. He basically refused to go to Jamaica and apologize publicly, and denounce his song publicly. He was not gonna. He just wanted to go make peace and let let them know that bygones is bygones. But they was just pushing more and more on him, and he was like, nah. And then right after he left, went back to Miami. That's when everything went down.
But one thing has nothing to do with the other.
It just seems. I mean. It just seemed like, dealing with, Michelle mentioned, the entrapment. It just seemed like right after that they figured out a way to get him into a situation, because they was really after him for years.
You remember Patrick Dorisman?
Yes.
Was it Patrick Dorisman?
Yes.
He was in the club. The undercover cop
right.
tried to come and try to solicit marijuana from him and stuff like that. And he was like, I don't do that. I don't sell that. Why are you coming to me? The cop was trying to entrap him, but he fought back. I mean, he lost his life, but when the paperwork came out and when it was shown, he was denying the cop trying to entrap him. There is always a point or a time where you as a man or a woman have the opportunity to say, well, you driving in this car with how many guns y'all got in here? Nah, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'll take the bus. You know what I mean? Or no, I'll do this, I'll do that. With Buju, he went to that meeting. You the one who told me about the videotape with him tasting cocaine.
No, not me, because I didn't even know about that.
Somebody told
probably
me.
somebody told you. I didn't even know.
Somebody told me something about
I didn't know it was
cocaine
all
or
of that.
something like that. That they had the video, whatever. He was there at the meeting and he was talking, and there was the federal agents that were there, and he was talking and whatever. But you should never been at that meeting. That's the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? As far as them wanting him to apologize for something that he did when he was 20, 19 years old, come on, man. That's like asking a comedian to apologize for jokes he did.
That's
what they just did.
That's
Kevin
what they
Hart.
did to Kevin.
Yeah.
They
So,
went back to his old tweets about, his homophobic statement, but he's a comedian. He say things that hurt, make people laugh or maybe offend people, but that's what they do. That's their job.
Every community, whether white, black, or whatever, they have their jokes. You get what I'm saying? You get more in trouble for going or saying something, that might be offensive to that community than saying something that's offensive to us as a people. You understand what I'm saying? The president of the United States gets away with saying, my African Americans. That's insulting. My African Americans. Did you hear him say that?
Nah.
He said, my African Americans.
Probably never heard a full speech from him.
You gotta listen
that
to
man
him.
can't talk. I have a 5-year-old that I know that speaks better than him.
What are you insinuating with that? You got a president that tells black
Shout out
women
to Eva.
to shut up and sit down. You know what I'm saying? But
that just shows the power of community. So it just shows, like, the LGBT community, when they want to get together to fight for a cause.
Oh, absolutely.
You're right.
They get together and fight for a cause. They hunted him down. They hunted down various dancehall artists, and to get what they want. So
wasn't Shaba banned from going to the UK or something like that years ago?
he might have been, but he did make some strong statements. He made some really strong statements in interviews and stuff like that.
About what?
About gay people.
Yeah.
Musically he didn't get into it too much, but his views actually were very strong. He was not apologizing to anybody. He basically said that it's wrong. He started a couple of those interviews he was quoting the Bible and just letting people know that act is just completely wrong, and that's why a lot of people I don't know if he was officially banned from the UK, but a lot of people he wasn't able to get shows and stuff like that abroad because of his strong statements. But he was basically defending his position, defending the position of dancehall artists, and he just wasn't buckling to the pressure. So, it just shows, how communities can get together to get what they want. So now, dealing with the situation, Meek Mill comes home now, and, he's trying to, or I shouldn't say he's really trying, but he's sort of the face of prison reform because he's making it known that basically, the prison, industry is a corporation. And, their, responsibility is just to get numbers in there. And for their own purposes, revert people back to slavery, number one, based on the 13th Amendment, which states that, slavery is legal, if somebody's convicted of a crime. So basically, it's been that trend ever since then. So he's just, coming out, like in the song he's mentioning, he's mentioning a lot of those things. Like he went through the system, and, it was basically a learning process for him, that he had to go through that, and he learned that he was just basically a number, that they were just using him. Just, they was holding, as many times they was holding him, giving him bail, not giving him opportunities to speak. And it was just he was just going back and forth. They would find new charges, saying he violated some parole to go back to trial for something else. So, he came out, he's done with the situation now, and he could basically speak strongly about it. And now with Jay-Z, he's speaking about everything. You could see, a whole change from Big Pimpin' to the Afro Jay-Z that we got today. Where, he basically is going back to his roots because, some of his original stuff was actually conscious. But when money was before him, and he admitted it along the way. If you listen to certain songs that he made, he admitted that, basically he was doing a lot of the songs he was doing just for money. But, he mentioned a lot if it was up to him, if it was up to me, I'd be lyrically Talib Kweli. like you mentioned that line, like he mentioned that stuff, like he was really wanted to be a conscious artist, but the money was there. But he also, like in this song and also in the past, he mentioned that he was basically trying to accumulate so much money so that he could give back to hip hop, give back to his community. And, you know, he did what he did. You know, people didn't like his method, but, you know, he's $500 million and more. And he's able to, you know, make that change and do, you know, greater things with his money and with the impact, you know, grow his hair out and, you know, let people know he's a black man, you know, once again.
I always thought that Jay-Z was intelligent. I always felt like I knew what he was doing because he was too smart, you know. And I think it was just a natural progression, like a man goes through. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I think he just grew into the person that he became. You know, he just with life's experience and the things that he see, you know, like, you know, the divide and conquer and the different things that people do. I think that Jay just, he came to the realization that, hey, this is where it's at. You know what I mean? And he just, when you get older, you speak your mind. You're not afraid of what people have to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get older, you speak your mind. So I just think that he was really dope on that verse. I think that he took it to a lot of places. I know that record ain't gonna get a lot of radio spins. You know that.
Why do you think that?
Because the content, they might just play Rick Ross because Rick Ross is more what they like.
And they're gonna blame it because the song is over 6 minutes long, so
right.
It's not radio format.
Oh, okay.
It's not
so
radio
I mean, they'll use that as the excuse. The song is very long.
Right.
So
I mean, Jay verse alone is like 60 bars. You know.
So once again, we talk about prison reform. We talk about Meek Mill coming out of prison. We talk about the evolution of Jay-Z. We talk about Mrs. Bastien-Archer, who's in the building, you know, giving us an update on her situation with her husband, who's wrongfully convicted, and her attempts to get his conviction vacated. And you know, I'm gonna play.
Is there a way that we can help to try to contact the king, like with the hearing that's coming up? And with the form that the lawyer is going to put in, is there a way that we could pressure the politicians or the district attorney here in Brooklyn in order to know that he got people behind him?
Yes, definitely. Call the you know, the district attorney's office.
And what's his name? What case are we looking at?
His name is Jermaine Archer, and the case it's from like '98.
Jermaine
Archer. And as soon as you mention his name, his log number is 57. There's so many other cases right now that they're saying that they're backlogged, but it's a lot of other cases just like my husband. And, you know, from going to see him and meeting people that's in the same situation that I'm in, there's people that actually came home, did their 25 years, and still have to fight to clear their name after they've been home.
Yeah, because New York State, what they don't like to do is when they found wrong, they like to still keep a guilt on you so that you don't come back and sue them.
Yeah.
You know, so in other words, yeah, we know we were wrong, but we're going to let you out, but say that you were guilty and we'll let you out. You know, hold on to this so that way you don't come back and sue them. And because if a man is looking at life in prison, because he was convicted by a jury of 12 because of their shenanigans.
You know what's crazy? If my husband did not go to trial, even the judge, and may he rest in peace, he actually said that he would have found him innocent
if he didn't go to trial.
Because he knew they was trying to give him 10 years. He said, "No, I'm not going to do 10 years for something I did not do." And then it's okay. You don't want to take the deal? Here's 22. Go to trial. 22 to life.
And he blew.
He blew trial. Now you know a lot about the like, you know,
I know a lot of people. No, I know that a lot of people get jammed up in the 90s. If he dealt with police in Brooklyn, if it was one of those type of things, police were notorious for, you know, doing things to people and setting up people. You know, there were a lot of crooked precincts in Brooklyn.
Oh, 75.
Yeah. You know, there were a lot of crooked precincts. There were precincts that were busted. for selling cops selling drugs and robbing drug dealers. So it's it's a lot of stuff that comes with that, and it's unfortunate, but we could like you said, what's his name?
Jermaine Archer.
Jermaine Archer, go down to the Brooklyn District Attorney, and what's the case number again?
Well, it's from '98, but it's let's see. I would have to look it up.
All right.
I should know.
It's from 98.
Yeah,
98.
from 98.
Jermaine Archer. Let's all call down there. You got a number for the Brooklyn District Attorney?
Oh, yes, I do. I'll give you the number right
Let's
now.
get the number so that we could get the people out there, get the people mobilized. In unity, there's strength, and we could definitely do something about this to stop these wrongful convictions. I think President Obama let a lot of brothers out. He pardoned a lot of brothers on his way out. I know a couple of people personally that he pardoned that are home now. So and I believe for all the craziness that he does, I believe that President Trump is actually try to do something with prison reform. I believe. He had a couple of people in there, and he was trying to do something for prison reform. But there's a lot of people that are invested in the industrialized prison system that are part of government that don't want that prison reform, because then they free labor will be gone. Not so much free, but you pay what they get paid, like 50 cents per hour
Or less than that.
Yeah. Whatever they get paid.
$12. Some pay like $12 a month. Some
$12 a month.
Depending on what, if they got that. That's like one of the best jobs. $12 a month.
Unbelievable. So this is what we're talking about. And they don't want to give up that free labor. That's basically free labor. They don't want to give that up, so they're not too keen on doing prison reform, because then that means their whole labor force is going to be gone, and then they trying to get rid of all the quote unquote, they call everybody Mexicans, don't matter who you are.
Yep.
You don't have to be Mexican, but they call you Mexican.
The number is 718 250 2549.
2549. That's the Brooklyn District Attorney. And just talk to anyone in there, or you ask for someone specifically?
You could ask. Well, Susan Schur was the person that was handling his case, and right now I'm not even sure who's handling the case, because they don't even want to speak to me anymore. Because as soon as we obtained counsel, they're like, we need to speak to your lawyer. Before that, it was just, they would talk to me. But his log number is definitely number 57.
57.
Yes.
Jermaine Archer.
Jermaine Archer. And the other number is 718-250-2001. So that's like the general number to call for the district attorney's office. We actually had a petition for people to sign. I had taken it down because of some crazy reasons. That the family of the deceased got in contact and with me and left me like these crazy messages and a life for a life. Basically, their family member died, and my husband is in prison, and he's suffering. So they're both suffering, but he didn't do what they said that he did. He didn't kill their loved one. He didn't kill Patrick. So it is what it is. But what's in the dark always come to light.
There you have it.
And it's like, we mentioned, we put up a lot of this information because, you've been on this show. This is probably like your fourth time, maybe.
I know, and I could be here 10 times.
Just giving us the update on what's going on, with that case, and then just getting the information out there for everybody. So this is a serious situation that's going on out there. So we tried to connect all of the scenarios together. With those that have been imprisoned, wrongfully, those that, convicted and they served their time, and, just enlighten the people. Just the basic thing is just, we have to do the best that we can to stay out of trouble. Just raise our children to stay out of trouble, stay away from people that could get you in trouble. And, it's unfortunate, no matter what, you could find yourself in a situation, even though you did nothing wrong. We didn't get a chance to go into it, but people know about Jasmine, who went to the social services office.
Oh my God.
And you see what the police did to her, out there. So, we'll probably have to catch up on that next week. But, we
need
just try to
we need
enlighten people to
mobilize.
what's
We need to
going on,
mobilize. That's
and
what we need to do.
that wouldn't happen. That probably wouldn't happen to any other group of people.
No, especially the Jewish
Because
community.
people, like, we mentioned other communities, they'll raise up real quick
Absolutely.
to back up their own. So what happened to Yasmin in that office wouldn't, even if it did happen, it wouldn't have taken so long for them to vacate her arrest. Because that happened today. So, thank everybody for tuning into the gallery. Make sure you continue to tune in, follow our pages, share our pages, subscribe. That's the gallery spelled DAGALLERY on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Mixcloud, and YouTube.
With Miss Stacy and Bad Man Benny.